Hello everyone, welcome back to Talking History. My name's Liz. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're all keeping well and keeping warm. It's dropped very cold here in the UK, which I personally don't mind. I love the cold. It gives me any excuse to wrap up in nice thick warm jumpers and be all cozy. Anyway, in the new year, I'm going to not change things up too much because I like the order of things. I like things to be in order. So I like the order of the timeline. But what I'm going to do is add in different things from that timeline. So I am going to be including the kings and queens of Scotland within that timeline. I am also going to add in videos on the Knights Templars. I'm going to add in the Crusades and the Knights Templars because they're all within that timeline. And I am also going to add in a video of the very first recorded public execution within that timeline. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of those future videos, and they are all coming to you in 2023. Anyway, back into today's video. We are doing a video on Matilda of Scotland. Enjoy. Matilda was born around 1080 in Dunfermline, and she was born to King Malcolm III and Margaret of Scotland, later Saint Margaret. And Matilda was born and christened as Edith. Now, Robert Curthose was Matilda's godfather, and Matilda of Flanders was also present at her christening. So it's possible that she may have also been Matilda's godmother. Matilda was the eldest daughter, and she had a younger sister named Mary of Scotland, who would go on to marry Eustace III of Boulogne and become mother to Matilda of Boulogne, who went on to marry the future King Stephen I of England, who was also Henry I's nephew. Matilda had 6 brothers. There was Edmund of Scotland, Ethelred became an abbot, and Edgar, Alexander I and David I all became kings of Scotland. From the age of 6, Matilda and her sister Mary were sent to live under the protection of their aunt Christina at Romsey Abbey, where Christina was an abbess. And she, Matilda, later went on to stay at Wilton. Matilda would later record on how her Aunt Christina was very strict and very harsh with punishment. Matilda and her sister, they both received a good education whilst at the convents. Matilda had left the convent in 1093, but she was ordered to return back by Anselm, the Archbishop of Canterbury. Now, Matilda, it was recorded that she was very attractive and she had long blonde hair and blue eyes, and her family had turned down several early marriage proposals for her, including William de Warenne. I don't know if I pronounced that right, apologies if I haven't. The second Earl of Surrey, Alan Rufus, Lord Richmond, and it was also reported by some chroniclers that William II, William Rufus, had also sought to marry Matilda. In 1100, King William II, William Rufus, had died, and his younger brother Henry had quickly seized the throne. Henry apparently must have known Matilda, as he decided that Matilda would make the perfect bride for his new kingdom. Matilda's heritage made her the perfect choice for Henry. Through her mother, she was the granddaughter of King Edmund Ironside, and through him, Matilda was a direct descendant from the Anglo-Saxon King Alfred the Great and the long line of the House of Wessex. Henry would unite the Norman line into the Anglo-Saxon royal line, and the marriage would also ally England and Scotland. On the 11th of November 1100 at Westminster Abbey, Matilda of Scotland and Henry I of England married, and it was from here where Matilda had changed her name of Edith to Matilda, which she is known to in history. Matilda and Henry had 4 children, but only 2 survived infancy. The eldest was a daughter, also named Matilda, who was born in 1102, and then a year later in 1103, a son followed, William, who was named as his father's heir. Matilda used her good education in her role as Henry's queen. Matilda served on her husband's council as Queen Regent when Henry was travelling, which she had often accompanied him. Matilda had also served as mediator between Henry and the Archbishop Anselm during the years 1103 to 1107, during the conflict between the church and state of who had the right to appoint church officials. So she had helped to resolve the conflict. And her work as regent survives till this day, as they are both charters and documents signed by Matilda. Matilda had also commissioned literacy works, which included a biography on her mother and a history of her family, which was completed after her death. And Matilda administered estates, and she oversaw several archaeological projects. And a court that valued both religion and culture. Matilda had also spent a lot of time on works of charity and compassion. Matilda was also very pious and generous to the poor. Matilda had a leper hospital at St. Giles's in the Fields of London built, and she had founded Holy Trinity Primary at Aldgate, also in London. Now, Matilda, she also wore a hair shirt, and she walked barefoot during Lent, just like her mother had done. She also gave food and clothing to the poor, and she washed the feet of the lepers and poor people. Matilda, she ensured that her children made good royal matches. Her daughter Matilda was betrothed to the Holy Roman Emperor Henry V, and she was sent to Germany to marry him. Henry and Matilda's son William was heir, and he was betrothed to Matilda of Anjou. There's a lot of Matildas during the early 11th century, and daughter of Count Fulk V of Anjou in 1113. However, William died in 1120 in the White Ship disaster. Matilda died on the 1st of May 1118, aged around 38, at the Palace of Westminster. Henry would marry again, but he had no further children. Matilda's place of burial is uncertain. There's one tradition said that she was buried in Winchester Cathedral in the old monastery, and Henry of Blois, the one I can't quite pronounce properly yet, Bishop of Winchester, had her remains placed in a mortuary chest, which is now lost. Another tradition said that Matilda was buried in Westminster Abbey at the entrance of the chapter house, then later reburied by Edward the Confession's shrine by Henry VIII. Matilda's legacy had lived on through her daughter, Empress Matilda, who was named Henry's heir and was set on becoming England's first reigning queen. But Henry's nephew Stephen seized the throne, being crowned King Stephen of England on the 22nd of December in 1135, and this started the civil war known to history as the Anarchy. And there's Matilda's story. It's a short one, but as I said, her legacy lived on, and it was through her and her daughter Matilda where we get the long line of the Plantagenets with Henry II. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe so we can reach more history lovers like yourselves. And until the next time, look after yourselves. Take care. Bye.